Oh my gosh, we're here. All right. Here we go. Welcome everybody. Thank you, YouTube. This time again. Now it's now it's YouTube messing up. Uh Welcome to the Roach Wiggle again. Um Hello. Gosh, I'm just flustered from all that stuff. Here I am, ready to go, all that jazz, and then this happens. Let's see. Um how's everybody doing today on this very hot day? Um Also, just taking a quick look at Discord. I should say hi to everybody. I'm so out of it right now. Let me scroll up and say hello to Duke and Enzo, a person. Aquarimax is here. Joseph Tavir, Hyperbeam, Alan, Satchel, EDC Geek, Po Ninja, Farouche, Eric Matthews, Lord Orion, JoJo's here as well. Mew, no, I never Mew. It's Mew, I think. Hello everybody. Um, I'm in pretty good shape. We got all of the last auction stuff shipped out. That was kind of the plan with this new packing strategy. It's been a been overall a better decision than the other way I was doing auctions. I think we're going to move forward this new format here on out for shipping. Everybody's orders from this auction have been shipped. Couple DOAs here and there. Seems mostly with people's boxes that may have been on the truck midday or something like that. But then you get the flip side of right now holding for pickup at some places is a death sentence. So, but that's how it is with anything. There's always ship out. I think it was what was it, over 100 items. Let's go ahead and see in Santee auction. Yeah, 106 items and just have a handful of DOAs is not bad. So, yeah, so we can look forward to smaller auctions like that, or maybe the Bugapalooza will be done. We will continue to work on this format and find something that is great for everybody. But I don't think anybody will complain about getting their auction order a couple days later instead of a couple of months later. So your hair looks different today. It's getting long. I had to comb it back. I think I'm going to cut it off pretty soon. Everything's coming off very soon. I think. Bug updates. The auction ended. Everything got shipped. I've scrambled back into bug husbandry just in time to catch some things as they're. We must have a 2,000 item auction. Says that monkey woohoo. No, we will not. No, we must not. If anybody you can't see, we are live. Go ahead, like the stream, etc. We're live. It's just apparently some people it's not showing for some people. So we'll maybe just refresh, open and close, clear your cache, your cookies, whatever. Maybe it'll show up. Where was I going with this stuff? Bugs. I got a bunch of bugs emerging. Just stuck my toe into isopod work. It's looking all right, but still a little on the depressing side with the numbers I got to start over some colonies with, but that's life. Some of my beetle stuff is doing really well. I had some Chrysina wood-eye eclose, so I've reared them from first instar up to adults now, and we're going to try and keep this going and use the knowledge from these to hopefully raise Bayer Eye, and then my failure with Gloriosa earlier this summer to finalize that husbandry. We got Lucanus Mazama closing, my Niskama. I got a lot of those. Chloricala are doing really well. We got a lot of stuff beetle-wise on the horizon. Uticella, it's just kind of crazy all this stuff is happening once. Tripoxylus have been closing left and right. It's a lot. And I get a break from it this weekend with Angel and I going to say some vows and get some time away, and then back to the grind next Monday. And we should be in a position to start saying yes and going forward with work and stuff we have to have done at the property. So Lord Orion says, my web spinners have been doing super well. They've gone crazy with webbing up the enclosure. I've been seeing a lot of them lately. Yeah, they're great. They're it's kind of like having an ant colony, but cooler and less of a pain to keep. With that, how cool all the tunnels get and watching them all interact. Trying to think of other stuff. I'm getting around to. I really cleared off my to-do rack. Really cleared it off. It's looking really good and organized. And again, a lot of stuff is doing all right. I cut out some old projects. It's Oh, also Cyborg Medic. I don't think I've seen you before, so welcome. I haven't. Where was I going with this train of thought? No, I haven't. With stuff getting left for a while without maintenance or husbandry and stuff like that, it is. Sorry, just moving some fruit fly cultures around. Here's the cursed flying hide-eye. Thought it was my Bazadia. I'm checking this to see if we got fresh adults. Got a couple of fresh adults popping up in here. With leaving cultures untended to for a while, it's good in a way because it readjusts my expectations. If I put something in a enclosure or a cup and I expected it to reproduce, go forth and procreate, and then months later after I did everything right, excuse me, the culture is crashed and it's not looking good. It's kind of a sign that maybe I wasn't on the right path, or maybe I shouldn't be trying to keep that species of whatever it is in general. So it's kind of good. It's kind of freeing. And then sometimes I get a situation where I open up the bin and it's just babies galore. I had a cup of Choctella Cummins-I from Allen that I had just left in the shipping container and was just like, oh, I'll put these away later. They're Cummins-I. I haven't had good success with them, like twice. I'll just leave them in the container and just throw a good food in and forget about them. And then I opened them today and there were some babies. So sometimes you luck out. The Chrysina wood-eye were kind of like that too, where I was just kind of on the back burner, although I did set them up well initially. I set those up way back in like, maybe it was last year. Maybe I haven't changed the substrate in there since last year, but now I've gotten 3 really good, healthy adults that have closed. And hopefully more on the way. Maybe it'll be a couple of different batches of them. So so stuff like that, the Mazamas. What other things have surprised me in a good way? Some of the millipedes too. My black and white Anadinobolus are doing well. My gunlock eye, the person accidentally sent black and whites mixed with them. And fortunately, I kind of detected that early on and pulled them to another enclosure. And now I can confirm that there was a mix-up of black and white some with the gunlock eye. So they, the trader / seller did agree to send some more for the mix-up. So we'll see how that goes. But stuff like that. I think somebody sent me. Was Anthony Green? One of you sent me, again, there's 2 of you that I keep mixing up because the brain wires keep getting crossed. I'd have to meet you in person, I bet, for it to get finally set straight. But it was Cubaris Green Laser, which I think might actually not be a Cubaris, whatever, it's all the crazy stuff. And those I haven't checked on since I got them, basically. And I looked in the bin, and they're all alive, and they're gigantic now. And I assume now that I've given them a little boost of some fresh material, a little bit of fish flakes, I'm going to start getting hordes of babies. So Tucker LaRue, hello, welcome. Lord Orion says, might be getting more from me in the future. I like to hear that. Cyborg Medic says, thank you. Came across your site right before the auction. I've been enjoying your videos since. That's wonderful. It is nice to have just this huge backlog of videos of content to just put on in the background and work while you're listening to it. There's something to that. It's very nice. So I'm glad I can provide that for people, because I can't do that for myself. I can't go back and listen to my own videos. I had bristly millipedes. Duke and Enzo, the Iggy's, are asking if I had bristly millipedes. I had them going for several generations, and what happened was some pyralis moths got in the enclosure and kind of, when it was drier, kind of outcompeted them, pushed them out. And so they're not difficult to keep, but I gotta go through with better sterilization and prevention protocols. In fact, I'm pretty sure, if Chain's here, I'm pretty sure I sent a batch to Chain when he won one of the auctions. So may still have them. The very easy to access spot where I can find more of them very reliably. So I may just go do that at some point. I mean, I will, but I've got a lot of things happening right now. Exotic Wheeler says getting some Bigutatus from Satchel. Yeah, Satchel had a huge hatch of those. I'm supposed to get that new species of Platymeris pretty soon, but they really have not been taking the best care of my assassins. I had a huge boom of like doing care for them like every week to 2 weeks in the spring, and that really bumped their numbers up. And then I slacked on it, and now they're kind of on the decline. So I've got to reverse that, and I'm getting around to that. In the coming days with all this extra husbandry I've been able to do. Zen Monkey says probably also not really a green laser either. They got a little bit of a green shine to them, but yeah, it seems just a touch exaggerated. Satchel says I saw a pyralis moth in my bug room yesterday. I'm curious if they're getting a foothold somewhere. They do that. They just sort of pop up on miscellaneous organic material. They're very common in my chicken coop outside, and also my rabbit hutches in the drier sections. I don't really complain because they're performing a detritivore role, but still. A person says I had to sacrifice some bugs in a shipping cup to prevent a forward fly infestation. Yeah, trapping is a good way to manage those on top of good regular husbandry when you can keep a good schedule and you don't have a lot of bins to do. Actually, surprisingly, these muslin lids are great for both preventing forward flies from getting in, and if they do get in, they kind of get stuck in there. So even if they breed on something, they don't just have this big mass emergence and get everywhere. It's actually very interesting. And this is also reminding me that something I should consider in a design for the future building is it's not a positive pressure hood. It's a negative pressure hood. It was a negative pressure hood. Maybe it was positive. I can't remember, but basically a space where you can put an enclosure, put something. When you open it up, it just kind of sucks everything out of it. It's when you're working with very volatile chemicals that may be toxic, people use those. So Panthera Nico says, my death's head roach just died last week. Almost 4 years we had him. That is nuts, but actually not unheard of for some of those larger blabbers, especially when they're raised at lower density and if they don't reproduce. There's a Roach forum post about somebody with a hybrid or cross strain of Blabberus that lived for 4.5 years. This is a long time ago. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty cool. Zero Cool Ninja 80 asking, what's up, everyone? Devin says, late, but I finally made it. Devin, this is a humble request for Cottonus. If you start finding them, my success with Nidida and all of the beetle success that I'm having right now is emboldening me to want them again. I know it won't be difficult to get larvae getting a batch of adults. So, yeah, we are going to have a giveaway today very soon. And since the stream started late, I should probably do it sooner than later. Eric Matthews says I was early and finally made it. Lord Orion says the gigantic bucket of fish food in the background always makes me laugh a little. You've got so many bugs, you buy nearly 5 pounds of food for them at a time. It's actually more than that. I buy about somewhere between 8 to 10 of those at a time when I order them to qualify for like shipping discounts and getting them sooner. So I actually am hoarding up those buckets because those are the mango container things, the mango jelly container things, because they will be perfect for selling substrate in when I start making it and taking it to local expos, or maybe even shipping it if I can find a proper consistent box size to fit either one or two of those things in at once. So Devin says only one dead one so far, but it's the season for them. That's good. I will remain hopeful, Devin. Thank you for keeping an eye out, and I hope your figs don't take too much damage. What are those critter keepers you use? Says Pwn Ninja 223. We got Zero Cool Ninja 88 and Pwn Ninja 223. They're faunariums. I think this is a Zilla or something brand faunariums. I use these ones for roaches and general stuff, and then I use the actual critter keepers, the brand name ones for isopods, because I have so many. They're made of cheaper material. Caleb Kahn says, do roach ootheca need oxygen to survive? I sometimes can recover the ootheca and stick it on a bed of soil, but then I wonder if the ootheca will dry out like my roaches always bury it. Yeah, they don't need that much oxygen, and depending on the species, the ooths are actually pretty water and air, pretty watertight. It's more about the health of the female when she was making the ooth that determines how the quality and the resilience of the ooth. An unhealthy female will make ooths that are more easy to rot and be eaten and decompose and get too dry or too hot, too wet. But if the female is very healthy, the ooth will be very healthy and be very resilient. Iloknoi. Hello, that's a new name too. We got a lot of newbies. Welcome. Any advice on setting up a small P. magnificus? Porcellio magnificus, a small colony? Satchel says, I like the jelly jars for bug containers. TBH, the square ones are roughly 1 gallon, but of square size. Great for small roach species. Yes. Slap a micro screen on those, and you've got a pretty good escape-proof enclosure. Something I may take advantage of the more crazy I get with collecting like Pycnoscelis localities and whatnot. I've been using them a lot for beetles. My only problem is they can be difficult to regulate humidity in. The bottoms of it can kind of become anoxic and kind of compacted and too moist in some conditions. And I have killed some stuff like Cedoniscoma trying to keep them in those enclosures. But I think their best value is for raising individual or small groups of larger larvae in. So dynasties, they worked very well for me for Tidius and for Grantii. Tripoxylus, they worked very well. They worked very well for Dorcas titanus castanicolor, although I did have a little bit of inconsistency there. So they are of use. You just have to. It takes a little bit of skill to get what you want out of them. Elachnoi says green roaches, the Pseudoglomerus magnifica. High humidity, high ventilation, lots of horizontal bark, and don't sweat the diet. Apple, fish flakes, dog food, mango jelly. That's all you need. Hello, Stephen Logan. Welcome. Exotic Willie says, I love saving the cheese ball yogurt enclosures for that stuff. I think I'm going to show Bug, and then we're going to go to the giveaway. Zen Monkey says, interesting trivia. Kyle's math bug room makes that scene from Matrix where they have an endless array of weapons look like a kid's playroom. That's funny. Let me get a bug to show while they're in this room. Oh, yes. There we go. And they're active, too. We have got a laid in captivity, not bred in captivity. The adults were wild caught, but in a closed in captivity, Chrysina woodeye here. And I think going into the future, unless I get more Central American Chrysina, I will probably give all of my United States Chrysina a cooling period over the winter. I think I will do that with all the species that I keep. Usually they grow pretty fast. By the time you reach October, November, their third instar, and I think that they're big enough and sturdy enough to go into winter mode, and then you get one generation per year. which kind of seems to be the standard for a lot of Rutellinae. Another that I just got was, I can't remember if it's Paracatalpa or Pseudocatalpa. I keep mixing them up. I think it's Paracatalpa sonorica. I told the collector, he was like, oh, they might need something special or blah, blah. And I was just like, they probably, just like a lot of other large Rutellines, where you just put them on like sawdust that's a little fermented and they will just lay in it and they don't have any special anything other than that. So that's what he did, and he ended up getting a bunch of larvae. And so now I'm going to be working with the Paracatalpa sonorica too, which gets I think it's about this big, the adults are, and we'll see how that goes. So I like Rutellines. They are a little bit tragically short-lived. I think some of these Chrysina are on the longer end of the scale of lifespans for Rutellines. Good luck on the giveaway. Hit that like button. Thank you so much for joining us, Aquarimax. Zen Monkey saying, I don't have firearms there, just the racks of enclosures are mind-boggling. It's going to be even more when I move. It's going to be aisles and aisles, and it's never going to feel like enough, is what I'm going to say. Panther Inigo says, I want. If all goes well, I will have larvae of these available soon. We'll see. It's kind of, we're the perfect storm right now. I can give them their host plant. I've got walnut. They eat pecans and walnut in the wild, like the leaves. They'll also eat fruit jellies and apple, but they don't seem to, from different reports, they don't seem to do quite as well on those things. They kind of really want that fiber or something from the leaves. That's been my experience with Rutellines in general also. They like that fiber, but could be wrong. You could be the person who gets them going on just pure sugary stuff. I don't know. But I'm trying not to fail. I'm trying to do everything not to fail. And the substrate is actually walnut wood shaving, compost / fermented sawdust, etc. So not only are they getting their adult host plant, but the substrate I'm making for them should be perfect because it's the host plant for the adults. They're probably pre-adapted to the juglanone or anything that might be in there, although it's pretty well decomposed, so I don't think that we're going to have too many issues regardless of what I use it for. Also showing off the blue feet that wood I have here. Let's see if we get this in focus. Hopefully it doesn't take off also. There we go. Get this. There we go. Show off those very pretty blue feet on these guys. They're kind of like smaller, slightly different colored Bayeri, and they're probably sister species, I would imagine. And I put out a hit for Bayeri in the Discord. Hopefully somebody can get me, I don't know, a couple dozen larvae this year. I think that should be good. And I'm pretty sure I can one-to-one translate my husbandry for Woodeye to Bayeri and get good results. Caleb says, would it be illegal to sell bed bugs? There's no evidence to suggest they spell disease. It's actually not illegal, although some things write in like you may not send noxious insects, etc., and whatnot. Pseudocatalpa, Alan says, Pseudocatalpa sonorica. Hello, John Doe, saying hello, bug friends. How do we enter the giveaway? We're going to do that very shortly here. Once I finish some comments, I'll figure out something. It's going to be a relevant and quick and easy question, I think, and we'll net you something shiny and green. Eric Matthews says, fresh leaves. I believe people have had success with frozen leaves of the hosts. So I think Alan might be able to speak on that if Alan's around. A person says, do you think labs will be contacting you to source roaches for research someday, assuming they don't already? I am constantly contacted by them, and the quantities of stuff they want, like American roaches, I don't have on hand. And that's been a huge, like, shooting myself in the foot, having to turn away labs because they need 1,000 Paraplaneta americana, like, once every 2 weeks, and I can't provide that. So that's on the list of to-dos when I move, is to get that stuff up and going. Everybody's saying looks adorable. That's amazing. Satchel asking, those are the ones from West Texas. Yes, these are the West Texas Chrysina, one of two. The other one is Gloriosa. Duke and Enzo says, Kylie, I have no anyone with Rhyscotus texensis. Proper Rhyscotus texensis, Alan might still have. Panther Nico says, it's a pity that the shiny Schaefers live relatively short lives. Kim Wisman reported that Chrysina gloriosa lived for several months on exhibit when he worked at Arizona Museum of Natural History would put them up for exhibit and feed them just apples, and they would live for quite a while. On that, gloriosa is probably the longest, I won't say longest, probably the toughest of all the Chrysina species, which is why the second these became surface active, I rushed to put them in an enclosure because I wasn't sure how long they'd live. Do we answer giveaway questions here on the Discord? All the giveaway stuff is in here. Devin says, I believe Bayer Eye was one of the species that Evan White said he could get me adults of. Devin, I would love that. If he does get you adults, just put them on some good rotted wood, a couple inches of it, nice and moist. Feed them, I think it's oaks their host. See if you can get them oak. Try offering the apple and fruit jelly and whatnot as well. But yeah, you could get a lot of they lay larvae. They're ridiculously prolific when you set them up on the proper substrate. So it's not difficult to get larvae out of them. It's actually better than transporting the adults, in my opinion. Would be to get some larvae, get them up a couple instars, and then ship them. So if you manage to do that, I would love to get in on that, Devin. Thank you, and perhaps some of these wood-eye could find their way to you. Alan, the question was, can you use walnut? Can you freeze walnut leaves? Can you freeze the host leaves to use them to feed Chrysina? Alan lost his Rhyscotus pretty quickly. Eric Matthews asking whom that beetle versus my fig eater. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but these are bigger than fig eaters. This guy or girl really wants to fly, so I'm going to put him or her back in the enclosure. All right, I'm going to get ready to do the giveaway. This is pretty quick and easy. And this is good. This rewards people who've been listening to the stream. All right, everybody, here's the giveaway. What you will receive is, I gotta put this in here. The reward is 12. I can't. It's too long of a message. Anyways, I'll just have to post the question, post it separately. The giveaway is for 12 Pseudoglomerus magnifica. I've got a lot of them right now, so it's the gift that keeps on giving. This is all expenses paid, shipped August 13th when I resume standard shipping. All expenses paid. All you got to do is answer the question correctly here and shoot me an email to claim your prize to the Roach Crossing at Gmail email. So here it is. And of course, I have to say it first to give people who are actively listening an advantage. There are 4 Chrysina species known from the United States, one of which I did not mention tonight. What is this 4th species? Needs proper spelling, capitalization, etc. First to post this in the chat wins a colony of Pseudoglomerus magnifica, group of 12. Somebody should get this pretty quickly, I would imagine. You know, we've got Alan. Alan has it. Alan not usually participating in giveaways. Cyborg student, you were close with the C. Lecontia. I was looking for proper spelling, capitalization, etc. Alan did spell the whole thing out, so Alan does win this for spelling out the genus. As I did ask, what is the species requiring the whole Latin? Thank you for participating, though. If you feel as if you have been shelved a bit here, do send me an email to roachcrossing@gmail.com because maybe we could work something out. But Alan did win proper. Alan, I guess with my next box, I'll throw your dozen Pseudoglomerus magnifica in. Well, here you go, Alan. Now they're your birthright. Chrysina limbata? I've never heard of limbata. Oh, that's beautiful. Mid-altitude forest in Costa Rica. That is a beautiful insect. A lot of these Chrysina are... What is this? Blue Chrysina? Somebody posted on the Hughes and is saying ew? Crazy. Hopala cerulean. There's no common name for them in the U.S. Well, now I gotta find out where these guys are from. Hoplia cerulean, found in southwest Europe and whatnot. That is a beautiful beetle. Males are bright blue, females are brownish. Interesting. Lecontii is kind of the final frontier. I'm going to answer some questions before I go to Chrysina rant, then we'll wrap up the stream. What roaches do labs usually like? Oriental, American, German. A lot of them use American roaches. Some of them use German. Some of them need all kinds of weird stuff, though. They'll use Brunea, sometimes Perplaneta brunea, Fuliginosa, Supella. They'll use some weird stuff like that pretty regularly. Satchel saying, remember how many Chrysina we baked in the car on the first Arizona trip? Oh my gosh, the individual cups was a nightmare. The mass container with a bunch of laying substrate in it is the way to go. The last time I was in Arizona, I had just one of these deli cups, and I filled it half the way with like good well-rotted soil good well-rotted processed flake soil, whatever you want to call it. Just old sawdust, basically. And I had that ready for when I collected Chrysina gloriosa, and I just tossed them in there and basically forgot about them. And then when I got home, I was like, oh, they're all dead. But I was like, it's fine. It's fine. I know it's fine. And then I cracked it open later, and there was a bunch of larvae in there. So it's super easy to get larvae out of them. Definitely the way to go is not to focus on the adults when you collect them. We did not eat them later. We did not eat the fried beetles. Devin says, I've got a decent supply of flake soil. Just need to find some oak that I can grab leaves from. If the person's collecting Bayeri, they're probably going to be... They will be where they can easily find that oak. So, but again, you could also just try the banana / apple approach too. Alan says, probably possible to feed frozen leaves, but you have to replace it within a day to make sure they stayed fresh and not dried out too much. Scroll on down, see what folks are talking about. Remember to like if you join late. A person says, this is like when you asked for the funniest slug genus, got multiple answers. Did you ever find out about Heterovaginia? No, but now I'm going to. Heterovaginia. Nobody ever brought that up. Nobody ever brought up the Heterovaginia. They were just having a good time with all of these leatherleaf slugs. They were just having the best time naming them, honestly. They flipped them over, and every single person who's ever looked at one of these from underneath has just had a feeling. Just a feeling. Labia minor. By the way, I still have not gotten any labia minor, everybody. Just another public statement that I'm still seeking labia minor and desperately need them. Chain commenting on the labia minor, the awesome earwig. Again, have not. Paralabella curvicauda in the hobby. I need to get up on some of these new earwigs. Satchel says, why do you think I want all the leatherleaf slugs so much? Ridiculous. Well, everybody, again, I said that we'd wrap the stream up early. I'll just make a comment on the Chrysina lecontii. Again, the holy grail for U.S. Chrysina in that nobody seems to have reliably bred them or gotten eggs out of them. A couple suppliers have supposedly listed larvae for sale, but then you go to buy them and it always says sold out. So if anybody here has more boots on the ground with, yes, I knew Jacob so-and-so, and he showed me his setup, and this is exactly how we got larvae from Chrysina lecontii. I would love that information for when I desperately try them again within the next 5 years, most likely. But until then, I'll just sit on my hands and come across them again one day, I'm sure, hopefully. But I'm going to grab a few bugs now here in West Texas, says Zero Cool Ninja. Great, great. Alan says perhaps they need pine for breeding. I'm not sure, the substrate, all these other Chrysina, you can wild catch them, throw them on substrate, and they'll just lay because they've already fed and they got some fat reserves or whatever they can burn off of. So even if they don't eat stuff in captivity, they'll still lay. But we haven't seemed to have gotten them laying on stuff. So yeah, maybe I'll have to try some aged pine or something. We'll see. Yes, Satchel lecontii are the high altitude Chrysina. Again, I would like to. I think I could get all 4 going in captivity before I die. And also, West Texas people, the people who commented here, around Fort Davis? Fort Davis or Fort Stockton? One of the forts. There's a billion forts there. Is where blue Chrysina gloriosa have been found before. Very rare. Kim has a specimen in his collection of hundreds of Chrysina gloriosa that is blue. I think it's the only one that he's ever seen, maybe one of the only ones recorded. Last time I was in Arizona, I found a red lecontii, which was very weird. Unfortunately, did not have the know-how to breed them at the time. So, what part of West Texas? They're mountainous areas in extreme western Texas that have Chrysina gloriosa. You can get a good idea of the range if you go on iNaturalist and plug in the species. You can see where it's been found. I didn't know lecontii was also found in New Mexico, but yeah, we'll figure them out eventually. I have hope. The rudolines can't be that difficult. Alan says I have Fort Davis gloriosa. I haven't had blue ones pop up. Zero Cool Ninja says I'm always in Hueco tanks and the national park. Dewey says I know they like climbing. My P. Magnifica babes are all hanging out at the top of the enclosures at normal. Yeah, that's pretty normal. Once they get the humidity goes down, it dries out a bit, or they start to get acclimated to the enclosure, they'll start to spend more time under bark and other better, I guess, places. Yeah, guys, we'll get Chrysina lecontii going. We'll get all these guys going eventually. The wood eye is a start, and the failure with gloriosa is the first step to consistent success, I would say. All right, we're gonna wrap the stream up here, guys. I hope that you all had a good short live stream. Should be back again next week for the other stream. Anybody has any issues with auction orders, I will get to them as soon as I can when I get back from this weekend. But otherwise, I'll be kind of MIA for a bit. So thank you all for joining me. I'm off to go have a sit and relax a little bit, and then I'm back into bug husbandry. And finally, with all the order backlog and stuff cleared and just a couple of things remaining, I can finally focus on the thing I really love, which is husbandry, and it's going really well. I got all the substrate prepped. The dogs have been inside because they're laying down all day because it's so hot outside. The cats, I gave them catnip earlier so they're not annoying me or annoying the dogs or annoying each other or whatever. We got good vibes today, everybody. So take care, everyone. And until next time, may your cultures ever be bountiful.